Kevin Brogan will join me from CoreLogic in just a moment to tell us that it appears that maybe some of the major markets have flatlined and the auction market appears to be in cruise mode. Back with Kevin Brogan in just one moment.
Point your clients in the right direction with our range of directional signage. With a variety of options, we have a pointer board for every situation. Made with quality, durable materials, they're built to withstand our varying weather.
Kevin Brogan from CoreLogic is my guest every Monday, every Friday, and the Friday show is where we look ahead, but we also first off have to look back. And Kevin, I said in the intro there, it appears that the market might be in a bit of cruise mode, but Melbourne rebounded a bit from those initial reports earlier in the week.
Yeah, look, we collect the preliminary results which we report on the Monday. But of course, what we've seen generally is there's been a slight decrease in the clearance rate, the final clearance rate. But Melbourne sort of bucked the trend this week and actually had quite a strong finish. So they've come out at 71.7%, which is up a bit on the prelim results. And what that's led to is the combined capital city weighted average has just kept above 70%. And I wasn't tipping it to do that. So that's quite pleasing.
Yeah, it is very pleasing indeed, and so too are the results around the country. We've got to get used to the fact that 70% is probably a pretty good result, and it is a good result too. You look at Sydney at 76.8, even Brisbane almost 50%, 46%. Adelaide strong again at 54. So as you said, Kevin, the weighted average is 70.6. A good result or a good way to end the week, I think.
Oh, look, it certainly is. It's stronger than I was expecting overall. And of course, we did see Sydney revised down a little bit from the 80%, but still 76.8%. That's a fairly modest revision for the final figure. And out of, over 800 results, that's a really strong performance.
It is. So let's take you to the Sydney sub-regions. The normal suspects, North Sydney, Hornsby, Northern Beaches performing well. But I've got to ask you, what happened in Blacktown?
Well, look, it's a relatively low volume auction market. There were 12 auctions in Blacktown, but every single one of them was successful. So, it's off small volumes, but 100%, nothing to be sneezed at. That's a very strong result from Blacktown.
Yeah, and good to see Northern Beaches too, 91.4% off 90 auctions. North Sydney and Hornsby just trucks along, doesn't it? A good number of auctions, almost 150, recording an 86% plus success rate. Good result.
Absolutely, and the eastern suburbs as well at 76.9% from 136 auctions. These are the real really big sub-region markets, and they are performing really strongly as well. Just with the Blacktown result.
Sorry, no, you go ahead.
I was going to say with the Blacktown result again. I mean, it is only 12 auctions, but do remember that when we've done this review over the past few weeks, Blacktown has been right up there. So from a region that wasn't performing terribly well, even though it's only 12 auctions this week, you've got to add that to the fact that for the last few weeks, it has been performing with really quite strong results.
Yeah, we're showing 16 on the screen now out of Blacktown. So is that 12 cleared? Is that what the results are?
Yes, that's right. So we've got 16 auctions took place, and we have results for 12 of them, and all of them were successful.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify that point. And Ride too, 84.1% off 56 auctions. That's not a shabby result either, I've got to say.
No, it isn't. I mean, Ride, as we've seen, has actually, again, over the past few weeks, shown some really strong results fairly consistently. And as we have mentioned before, Ride was hit by the softening market in 2018, but has actually been leading the way with both value growth and also clearance rates.
Okay, we'll take you to Melbourne now and the sub-regions there. And Kevin, we're looking at inner south and northeast, both in the 70%, and a good number of auctions there too. So that's probably had a lot to do with that final clearance of 71.7.
Oh, look, it certainly has. Look, I think when you look across those regions, we've seen, as you mentioned, I mean, the Outer East really has been performing very strongly for an extended period of time. The Inner East is a little way behind it, but nonetheless, the East is where where the strongest results have come. Mornington Peninsula, again, it's a little bit volatile, fairly low volume. This week, the clearance rate has sort of come up, if you like, to meet the overall figures that we're seeing coming out of Melbourne.
Okay, well, let's take you to the numbers for this weekend, and we can see both Sydney and Melbourne are up. Brisbane is down, Adelaide is up, and Perth is down. Bit of a mixed market there. Canberra down as well. But we've got, what have we got ahead of us now? 2,437 odd auctions this weekend?
Absolutely. That's very similar to last week, yep. But in total. But as you pointed out, there are some differences. You know, the markets that have moved ahead in terms of the number of auctions, Melbourne and Adelaide. Canberra, for the last 2 or 3 weeks, has been steadily growing in the number of auctions and a strong clearance rate. But this week, we've just seen it just slip back a little bit in terms of activity.
I think last week in Canberra was just a touch over 100, which really surprised me, and the results quite good too. So pretty good across the country.
If you look at what's happening with value growth, I mean, all through 2018, although it was relatively modest, Canberra did continue just to move ahead in aggregate in terms of value. So it's actually in quite a strong position now as a result of that. It's not recovering falls. It basically values across Canberra almost at peak.
Okay, so we're going into the week with almost 2,500 auctions. We'll give you the preliminary results on Monday when Kevin Brogan joins us. Just to recap though, final clearance, CoreLogic reporting that Sydney has a clearance of 76.8, Melbourne 71.7, Brisbane 46.8, Adelaide 54.1, Perth 31.9, and in Canberra 73.8. Kevin, have a great weekend. Look forward to talking to you on Monday. We'll take you through the top sales in all those cap cities as well. Kevin Brogan, have a great weekend. Talk to you on Monday.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Speak to you then.